The Zrakthi collective had made their first and final mistake. They had believed the isolated colony of New Haven, tucked away in the Epsilon Eridani system, was just another remote outpost, vulnerable, forgotten, and inconsequential. 3 million souls called that verdant world home, farming, building, and dreaming of a future among the stars. The Zrakthi reduced it to ash in less than 6 hours. Admiral Chen Okoye stood on the command deck of the UES Retribution, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed the gathering storm. Around Earth and its orbital stations, across the lunar shipyards and Martian dockyards, throughout the asteroid belt's hidden military installations, humanity's true strength was awakening. The Zrakthi had seen the scattered colonies, the merchant vessels, the exploration ships. They had never seen Earth mobilize for war. 700,000 warships. The number seemed impossible, even to those who commanded them. But humanity had learned hard lessons in its expansion across the galaxy. For every colony ship that ventured into the unknown, 10 warships were built and kept in reserve. For every peace treaty signed, 100 weapons were forged in secret. The scars of Earth's own bloody history had taught its people a singular truth: hope for peace, but prepare for annihilation. Commander Jackson Reeves worked frantically at his station, coordinating the jump calculations for Battle Group 17. "Admiral, the final squadrons are reporting ready. Jump window opens in 14 minutes. Chen nodded, her jaw set with grim determination. The Zrakthi had transmitted their victory across the subspace networks, boasting of their conquest, displaying grotesque trophies taken from the defenseless colonists. They had expected fear. They had expected submission. They had miscalculated catastrophically. The collective had approximately 4,000 military vessels, a formidable force that had terrorized a dozen species across 3 sectors. Their technology was sophisticated, their tactics brutal, their reputation fearsome. They controlled 67 star systems and commanded resources from 100 subjugated worlds. By any conventional military assessment, they were a dominant power. Earth brought 700,000 warships. The disparity wasn't mere numbers. Each human vessel carried weapons developed from centuries of theoretical warfare, powered by reactors that bent the laws of physics, crewed by men and women who had watched the footage from New Haven and felt something ancient awakening in their species' collective memory. Humanity had clawed its way from tribal warfare to nuclear brinkmanship, from world wars to colonial expansion. Violence wasn't foreign to them, it was in their DNA, carefully controlled but never forgotten. "All battle groups report ready, Admiral," Reeves announced, his voice steady despite the magnitude of what was about to unfold. 687,000. 412 vessels accounted for. The remaining units are maintaining defensive positions around Earth and the core colonies. Chen allowed herself a moment to absorb the weight of command. She had fought in skirmishes against pirates, negotiated with rival colonies, and even commanded relief missions after natural disasters. Nothing had prepared her for this. Nothing could. She was about to unleash the largest military force in known galactic history. "Signal all commands," she said, her voice carrying across the command deck and simultaneously transmitted to every ship in the massive fleet. "Remember New Haven. Remember the 3 million who will never see another sunrise. We don't go to conquer. We go to ensure this never happens again. We go for vengeance, and we go for justice." The first wave jumped. 10,000 ships vanished in simultaneous flashes of distorted spacetime, their quantum drives tearing holes in reality itself. They would emerge at the edges of Zrakthi space, announcing humanity's arrival with electromagnetic fury. The second wave followed 30 seconds later, 50,000 vessels arranged in a formation that had been rehearsed in simulations but never deployed at this scale. In the Zrakthi home system of Rakthas Prime, Warlord Caithvar was conducting his morning audience when the first alarms shrieked across the defense network. His 4 eyes narrowed at the sensor operator who had dared interrupt. "Explain this disturbance." The operator's mandibles clicked nervously. "Warlord, our perimeter stations are reporting contacts. Multiple contacts. They're still counting." "How many?" Caithvar demanded, his spine ridge flaring with irritation. 70,000 and increasing, Warlord." "No, 90,000. The sensors can't process them all. They're everywhere. Warlord, they're human vessels. Cathvar felt something he hadn't experienced since his youth, genuine fear. The humans were supposed to be weak, scattered, irrelevant. Intelligence had reported they possessed perhaps 10,000 military ships at most, spread across their colonies. This was impossible. Activate all defense platforms. Summon the fleet. Send for reinforcements from. The transmission was interrupted by the first plasma salvos. Human warships, their hulls painted with digital camouflage that confused Zrakthi sensors, opened fire in a synchronized barrage that turned the outer defense network into expanding clouds of molten debris. Railguns fired projectiles at a significant fraction of light speed. Missile pods released swarms of self-guided munitions. Energy weapons, powered by matter-antimatter reactions, carved through Zrakthi shields like plasma through ice. Admiral Chen watched the tactical display from the Retribution, now positioned at the heart of the assault formation. The Zrakthi were responding, their warships scrambling to defensive positions, their weapons platforms coming online. It wouldn't matter. Human military doctrine had evolved over millennia of warfare, refined through countless simulations and theoretical exercises. They knew how to destroy. Wave after wave of human vessels jumped into Zrakthi space. Battle Group 7 obliterated the shipyards orbiting Vrakthas 2. Battle Group 23 systematically destroyed every military installation in the Kravix belt. Battle Group 49 engaged the Zrakthi home fleet in a battle that lasted 17 minutes and resulted in the complete annihilation of 3,000 Zrakthi warships against losses of 200 human vessels. The collective attempted surrender after 6 hours. Chen rejected it. They had shown no mercy to New Haven. They would receive none here. The human fleet moved through Zrakthi space like a surgeon's scalpel, excising every military asset, every weapon, every ship. Civilian populations were spared, colonies were left intact, but the Zrakthi collective as a military power ceased to exist in a single day of fury. When it was finished, when the last Zrakthi warship had been reduced to debris, Admiral Chen stood before the Galactic Council via quantum link. Representatives from a dozen species watched in stunned silence as she delivered humanity's message. "Let this be known across the galaxy," she said, her voice cold and precise. "Humanity seeks peace. We value cooperation, trade, and mutual prosperity. But understand this truth: we are not weak. We are not defenseless. And we do not forget." She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. New Haven has been avenged. 700,000 warships returned to ensure justice was served. We hope this demonstration makes our position clear. Touch one human colony, and Earth itself will answer. The transmission ended. The fleet began its journey home, leaving behind a Zrakthi species humbled and a galaxy that would never again mistake human restraint for weakness. In the ruins of their military might, the collective understood too late what their intelligence had missed: humanity had never stopped preparing for war. They had simply hoped they would never need to. New Haven would be rebuilt. Its 3 million dead would be remembered. And across the stars, every species would know that Earth protected its own.